What on, family? It's your boy SNTV. Back at y'all with another Chiraq Street Legends. And this episode is going to be about none other than Martin Ybarra, aka King Slim. Slim comes from that Latin King set. He's off of 83rd in Buffalo to be exact. But the set that he comes from stretches from 83rd to 86, Green Bay to Burley. They're called the Bush Kings. The Latin Kings were beefing with a set of Black Stones that goes by the name of No Limit or 2775 Hit Squad or Chico World. They on 85th and 87th in Colfax. King Slim is known to many to be one of the most ruthless or treacherous Latin Kings to come out of the city of Chicago. Some of the things that King Slim did in the streets, really had people terrified. And King Slim, he was really like psychotic. When it came down to him riding for his kings, King Slim was at the top of the list. He had an extremely high profile case because the victims on his case was 17, 13, and 15. And also because of the nature of the crime and the fact that this happened broad daylight at like 3:00 p.m. on a school day, out in the open in front of a million witnesses with no mask on. A man accused of fatally shooting 3 teenagers in 2009 when he was aiming for a rival gang member has been found guilty of murder, but his co-defendant was acquitted. Martin Ybarra, 25, was accused of killing Johnny Edwards, 13, Raheem Chico Washington, 15, and Kendrick Pitts, 17, on February 20th, 2009, when he was shooting at a rival gang member, prosecutors said. A jury found Ybarra guilty of murder in all 3 killings. His co-defendant, Giovanni Lopez, was found not guilty in a bench trial before the same judge hearing Ybarra's case, according to court records. The Latin Kings and Black P. Stone gangs had been in a running dispute in the area around Bowen High School, 2710 East 89th Street, in the weeks leading up to the attack. On the day of the shooting, Ybarra received a call at home from fellow gang members who asked him to come help them in the ongoing gang war. A short while later, Ybarra called his own house, asking that someone there bring his assault rifle to the front door. Prosecutors had alleged Lopez was with Ybarra when Ybarra returned to his home, and Lopez went to the home's front door, grabbed the rifle, and brought it back to Ybarra, then got into the vehicle with him. Near 87th Street and Exchange Avenue, Ybarra spotted a rival gang member bending down to grab his jacket. Ybarra got out of the car and aimed and fired several rounds, prosecutors said at the time. One witness saw Ybarra holding the rifle with both hands, aiming in the direction of the witness, who was a member of the Black P. Stones. The rival wasn't hit, but Washington, standing nearby, was struck in the left eye, right knee, left leg, and back. As the rival ran away with Pitts, Ybarra went through a gangway, then got back in the car and caught up with them near an alley between Exchange and Escanaba. The rival heard shots behind him and ran into a nearby vacant lot and hid behind a dumpster. As Ybarra fled, the rival walked out and saw Edwards lying on the ground and his brother screaming, "Someone please help me, they shot my brother." The rival also saw Pitts on the ground, shot in the leg and the head. Police were able to capture Ybarra soon after the shooting. Lopez was identified by witnesses as the person who retrieved the rifle for Ybarra, and he was arrested about 10 months after the slaying. Pitts was the youngest of 6 adopted children, and his older brother, Carnell, 18, was shot to death a few weeks after Pitts. Ybarra previously was acquitted in a fatal shooting of a 19-year-old man in 2005. Officials said that shooting occurred within a block of the latest deaths. Now, a lot of people say that this case and this situation was kind of a little more personal and it was racially motivated. Why do people say that? People say that because at some time or another, the alleged, target, the guy who Ybarra was really trying to get, who he didn't even end up, hitting, he used to talk to Ybarra's sister. And if you know anything about a lot of Puerto Ricans, shout out to the ones that, that don't, but a lot of Puerto Ricans and a lot of Mexicans that I know, they may be cool with you, but they don't like intermingling like that. They don't really like black guys talking to Latino women. Not to mention the fact that witnesses stated that when Ybarra rolled back around, when he came through the alley, he was shooting out of the passenger side window screaming, "Die, nigga, die." On a specific day that the shooting took place, there was an altercation at Bowen High School. And the altercation was between the Latin Kings and the Stones. And somebody made a call to Slim. After Slim receives the call, he makes a call to his home that was on 83rd in Buffalo at the time. And he tells someone at his house, to get his rifle prepared. He goes to his house and he picks up his rifle. Now, the other guy that was with Slim, he was actually charged as an accessory and as being the one that was driving the car. Because, they noticed someone was driving the car when Slim came back through the alley, because Slim was hanging out of the passenger side and someone was driving. Slim picks up the gun. He actually spots the guys walking from school. It's broad daylight, 3 p.m. on a school day. People and witnesses are everywhere. Slim hops out the car. When Slim hops out the car, Slim begins to fire. When he starts firing, this is when he hits Chico. Chico was definitely a Black Stone as well. He hit Chico in the left eye, in the right knee, in the left leg, and in the back. After Chico was hit, the intended target began to run. He ran near alley. King Slim and whoever was driving, they went through the alley and they continued to shoot. Now, it was 2 people that was with the intended target at that time. Both of those 2 people were hit. That was the 17-year-old and the 13-year-old. The 17-year-old was shot in the head and the left leg, and the 13-year-old was shot in the back, and both of those guys died too. After he initially started shooting at them, and he began to hit the wrong targets, one would think that he would just, leave, but he continued. He got right back on their ass when they was running, so that tells me that he was definitely trying to kill all of them. It really didn't matter, So I said that to say this. In Chicago, killers come young. As early as 8, 9, 10, you have examples out there all day when you look at people like Yummy. You know what I'm saying? So, we don't know if all of these guys was banging or not. We do know that one of the guys was banging, and he was the initial guy that Ybarra really wanted. He was actually the one that ended up living. If you're not involved in gangs, if you're not a part of a gang, then there's no reason why you should be hanging with gangs, because this is the type of thing that consistently happens with gangs. Because if you're not hanging with somebody like that on a daily basis, you don't know what type of shit they into. This dude might got bodies or whatever, so you just don't know. So you have to keep yourself out of harm's way. I think that what we can learn from King Slim, as men, we never act on emotions. We never deal with impulse. We always think before we do stuff. King Slim literally went on a suicide mission. He went on a kamikaze mission, not looking at it from the angle to where he was actually risking his life, because I'm pretty sure that he knew that he had more firepower than those, than those high school kids. No, I'm talking about from the angle to where he went out there in broad daylight, gunned down 3 people in front of 1 million witnesses. This guaranteed that he was gonna do one thing: go to jail, if nothing else. Cameras, no mask on. He really went on a suicide mission dealing with emotions. He acted off of impulse. He was mad, and when he spotted this guy who had been talking to his sister, boom, from there, it was on. That's one thing we have to learn how not to do. You never act off impulse. If you gonna do something as crazy and as wild as this, which I never would, encourage that or permit that. But if you gonna do something like this, you must plan something like this. You definitely don't do something like this in broad daylight with no mask on. He basically sacrificed himself. You give your life away like this by doing stuff like this, it ain't you have no opportunity to change. It's just gonna be the prison cell for the rest of your life. What I think that we can learn dealing with these young guys, if you get into a dispute at school, especially in the city of Chicago or really anywhere, if you get into a dispute at school, you better assume that the next person is trying to beat you and meet you outside of the school with a weapon. You have to think like that in the year 2020, just as you had to think like that in the year 2009, because this has been going on for so long. And not only have children came back to the school, they've came in the school. If you gonna be at school getting into it, you better be getting up out of there when that bell ring, or you better be trying to get up out of there before that bell ring, because you just never know. This has been another SNTV production. Peace and love to my family. We getting it together. We still rolling. Make sure that y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's your boy SNTV. I'm out.